Hello there, U8s. I'm going to do this a little bit differently today because I was trying to figure out how I was going to do this. And anyways, so I'm just going to kind of walk you through it nice and easily. So for today, we're going to be talking about column graphs. There's some key components to a column graph. Number one, make sure you have a title. Underline the title if needed. Number two, your axes must be labeled. So you see here we've got an axis of number of students. Down here we've got an axis for color. Have labels on your axes. If you have categorical labels, like here we have the categorical labels of the favorite color, make sure you have those categorical labels labeled appropriately. If you have numerical labels, that is fine, but categorical labels, for example, right here, that is great. Make sure that there's a gap between your columns. So each one of these columns has to have a gap. The other thing they didn't point out in this graphic is that you need to make sure that your increments here are even. So you notice here we're going up by 5. So from 0 to 5, we add 5, we add 5, we add 5. So we're going up by increments of 5. So make sure that your increments are measured properly, they're spread out properly, and that you can see that it's a nice repeated incrementation and it's easy to read. Don't have your increments being the same incrementing but different distances. You notice how here it's very obvious the distances between each, so it's very easy to read. It's a very straightforward graph. If you take a second and look, so this example that I've given you, it's a vertical column graph. You can also get horizontal column graphs like I've given you here, which is also fine and allowable, perfectly fine to use. But this one's a horizontal column graph. So what I do, or what I was hoping to have done, was I was going to hand show you how to do this. I might have a chance to show you when I first get into school, but I have my document camera here with me at home. So you can see here we have the names of the different students here, so we use that as our categories down here. And then we have their height in centimeters, which we use to help us determine our scale here. When I look at a question like this, I look for my highest value. So you can see Tim's 150 centimeters tall. So I use that to inform my axes that I'm going to draw up here. So we go a little bit higher, we go to 160. You can see I went up by increments of 20 each time. You can see all my increments are spread out evenly. You can also see I've labeled my axes, so height in centimeters and the name. And I've also given a nice title. So for your practice today, you're going to read this graph and use it to answer these questions. This one's pretty easy. You're going to answer true or false to the following statements based on this data. This graph is a horizontal column graph, and you'll use that to answer these questions. E, you're going to take this data and represent it as a dot plot. Finally, you're going to take the information I gave for number 3, and you're going to draw your own column graph for Mitchell. You can use his age as your categorical data and your height to be what you're measuring and comparing. So please draw me a column graph for that. It's pretty straightforward, and I don't think it's too much more than that needed for explanation. I hope you're all doing well. Take care.